All right, let me, brother Jared's not going to be able to be with us tonight. He had some other things that are some commitments that he made that ended up moving over into this evening. So he's not going to be able to be with us tonight. Let me mention a couple of things. First of all, next week will be our last meeting. Hopefully, we will have all of these. After next week, very brief, very shortly after next week, we'll have them all up on both our YouTube channel and hopefully our Facebook as well. Yeah, so that you can go back and review any of the things that we have talked about this year. I did want to mention we attended the state meeting, the OOA state meeting in Shawnee on Saturday, and I wanted to mention a few of the ones who were recognized there. Alan Severe, who's a member of our association, was recognized for 40 years of service, and Alan is on the coaching staff at Wagner, and so he's not able to be on a regular Friday night crew, but has been working with us for quite a while and was acknowledged for 40 years of service. And then Bobby McElpine, Bobby, I get your name wrong every time, and Doug Mary were both acknowledged for 35 years of service, and then Tony McCoy for 25 years of service. And so we want to just give all them a big hand for the faithfulness to the process and being a part of all of this, and know that it's great. Those of you in Veneta and those of you that are online tonight, just be aware next week's meeting. We will have the remote in Tahlequah, but we'll not have the remote available at Veneta because of some other previously scheduled events at the church there. So just be aware of that if you would. I was discussing with Jared today some of the things that to talk about tonight, and he said the questions that we've been doing have been very beneficial, and so we're going to do some of those this evening. And they're questions that were on the crew tests last year. And as an association, we struggled with the crew test a little bit last year. So I want to talk about some resources now so that you can be preparing for that, and so that we can have more of our crews representing us in the playoffs this year. I would highly suggest that you go to the OSSAA website, go to the football page, and on that page is last year's crew test with the answers and the rule references there, and go through and figure out where we were struggling last year, because guys, we had several crews with scores that were embarrassingly low. We need to be more aware of enforcements, all of those kind of things. One of the challenges in being a high school official is that we all think we know the game. And even as high school officials, we fall into the trap sometimes of basing it on what we see on Saturday and what we see on Sunday. And most of the problems that we have on the crew test and even on the test number one, part one, is based on our thought processes of another rule set. Okay. So we've got to become experts at the NFHS rule set. Okay. Be mindful of that, work on that. And as everybody that's been in any role of leadership in our association has told you, this is not just the white hat's job. This is for everyone to know. So that when something happens, we can quickly understand where we're going to administrate. We can get those things right. We don't have to have long conferences, and everybody's able, and you're able to catch something if there's a brain hiccup at some point. So let's work on those things. Now, that is a good resource, the crew test from last year. There's another thing that they talked about at the GTOA clinic called reftest.org. What? Net. I knew it wasn't, it's not com, it's net. No, it's reftest.net is what it is. And if you'll go there, and it has a lot of the questions that appear on part one, a lot of the crew test type questions, and it'll help you there, and it'll give you the references and things so that you can become familiar with the rules, and it'll be beneficial to you as we progress. I also wanted, again, Ethan mentioned this when he was here with us a couple of weeks ago, but they have put together these pregame checklists for each position, and they are on the football page, and it's a pregame checklist for, there's four of them. There's one for the referee, one for the umpire, one for the back judge, and one for the line of scrimmage guys. Even though those two positions are unique positions, the pre-snap, most of that pre-snap stuff is common for them. And so this is something I laminated a copy of each position for my crew. White hats, you might consider that. Or you just might tell your crew, be sure to download this thing and look at it, because it's got points of emphasis, things that you are responsible to do in our pregame with the coaches, what your pre-snap ritual ought to be, where your positioning is, and what your responsibilities are on the free kick, what you should be thinking pre-snap of scrimmage play, running play, passing play, all of these things, goal line mechanics. Every one of these issues, just reminders. In every area of officiating that I train young officials, I talk to them about, you need to have a script in your head. There needs to be something that you are going through consistently. It's the same thing every time, because repetition gives order to things, right? And so how you report a foul to your white hat, what your script is when you're reporting that foul, all of those things, so that they can be crisp, so that they can be professional, so that they can accomplish the purpose for which we're out there to do it. I don't know how many of you were at the GTOA, but Clay talked about that, about how, when he's driving in his car, he's sitting there practicing his enforcement announcements. He says he doesn't make the signals, got to be dangerous, but practicing exactly what he's going to say in those circumstances. Okay. Now, you might say, well, I'm a line of scrimmage guy. That's not as important for me. Well, practice what you're going to say when a coach yells something at you, right? Using the terminology of a rule is always going to benefit you. Coach, no, there was no material restriction. That was not a hold, whatever the case may be. Using giving them a reason. And again, obviously we know, hey, head coaches are the only ones that are supposed to talk to us, right? Yeah, but we do need to communicate. We can save ourselves a lot of grief if we're willing to communicate information to that sideline. Okay, so let's be aware of that. There's also on that football page a document. It's 13 pages long. It's the Oklahoma Football Officials Mechanics. I would encourage you to download, read it. Some of our mechanics are different than the NFHS mechanics. NFHS has, mandated that the umpire ought to be under the goalpost on extra points. We don't do it that way. Our mechanic is different. Again, the mechanics that Ethan has put together is a means for us to be prepared to be successful. All right. Any mechanic that there is out there is going to have holes, especially when we've got only 5 sets of ice, right? There are going to be holes. But if we are properly working our mechanics, we can minimize on the majority of plays, we can minimize the impact of those holes. Okay. They said at the state meeting that they went over uh, again. They did it again. It's been 5 or 6 years, but David Gore said he went through hundreds of playoff games and wrote down or evaluated every play in those playoff games, and he said that 93% of those plays in over 100 playoff games, 93% of those plays took place in the first 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. Only a very small percentage were throws that were further down the field or whatever the case may be. And so our mechanics are created to give us the very best opportunity to be successful in those 15 yards. Okay. And so if you understand your responsibilities, and if you believe that your teammates, your crewmates understand their responsibilities, and you trust them to be taking care of their part, we're gonna have a lot more success. And so we want to do our best to keep that going. On these pregame checklists, there are some statements about philosophy, about if you think, then it's not. Don't think that it's a foul. Okay, let's not have flags for an attempted hold. Okay, let's be sure that the penalties actually take place. All right. I wanted to mention a couple of other resources. And again, hopefully, before I send this out, I need to get permission from the author. But at the GTOA clinic, if you went to the clinic, you received the penalty enforcement Hopper book, which just simplifies penalty enforcement. It's an outstanding work that Chris Bailey and several of his coordinates helped to accomplish over a 3 or 4 year period. And I've received a PDF copy of that. I just need to get permission before I send it out. But I will do my best to allow our association, if possible, if again it's his work, we want to be sure we don't overstep there. But that's a resource that I think is very, very beneficial to us. If we have white hats here tonight, I have some gold cards for you. If you are in Tahlequah, Scott Pettis has gold cards for you down there. In Veneta, we'll have to figure out when we're going to be able to cross paths for me to get them to you there. But we do have those available. Also, another resource that I'm going to make available on our Facebook page is a document that the GTOA put together for rookies, and it's a rookie dictionary. Okay. And basically, what it does is it just kind of defines some of our terms. We had a couple of first year guys that have been with us the last couple of weeks, and they know football, but they basically admitted there was an awful lot of the conversation that they didn't exactly understand what the issues were. So we've got that. Chad Craig made that available to us, and we're going to try our best to make that available to everyone. We want to be sure that that we work hard. we want to be sure that we work hard this year to get the huddle film. Okay. Get the huddle film. The GTOA made up little cards asking them and laminated those things. And then White Hats, at your pregame meeting, you ask the head coach, hey, who is your huddle guy? And point him out to me. And then have one of your crew who's going to be your bulldog that's going to go and say, hey, listen, I need to get your information. I need to be able to contact you this week. We really need your huddle film. We need you to send it to GTOA. And especially now that they are working with this Officiate IQ, again, we're still in negotiations as to how much availability we'll have to that. We're not certain of that yet, but we do know that it doesn't do any good if we don't have the film. All right. I would also suggest to you, White Hats, that if you have, if you're taking a rookie with you to help you chart penalties or anything of that nature, that you have them do a wide angle video. NFL calls it, I think they call it their 2029 or whatever, because it's 22 players plus the 6 or 7 that they have on the field. Huddle sometimes gives us the ability to see our officials, if we're in position and everything, but it will help us understand where we are falling short if we'll just take wide angle video of the game and just kind of look through how we responded to a play, and where guys are moving and where we're missing opportunities. And not so much, it won't be that beneficial to be able to tell you whether that's a hold or not, or whether that was a penalty or not, because most of the time those wide angle, again, they're just too far away to give you a whole lot of information. But it will help us be able to see where guys are moving and all that kind of stuff. So if you can do that, and that's just for your own benefit, do it for your own benefit. Really work through the carryover penalty information. In reality, it simplified things. It really did, but study that out and be sure that you understand what can be carried over and where it can be carried over to and all of that kind of thing. In the past, because some things say subsequent spot and some things said subsequent kickoff, you couldn't, the one that everybody's talking about is you couldn't carry over to overtime on the ones that said subsequent kickoff. Well, they've changed that all now to subsequent spot, but there is still, there's still things that we have to be aware of in regard to when those penalties happen, in regard to during the play, after the ready for play for the try, any of those times, and which of those things can be carried over all the way to overtime, any of those things. So it simplifies it, but please do a little study. Everybody understand what's going on there. Cannot emphasize enough that we have to have a signal at the end of every play. All right. Your ability to keep the ball game moving, your ability to appear professional on the field, in control of the game, all of those things, a lot of that has to do with your whole crew knowing what the next step is, what the next step in the process is. I'm going to use a basketball analogy here. When there's a foul under the basket, right? Or there's a whistle under the basket. If we put our hand up, which stops the clock, we have an open hand if it's a violation. We have a closed hand if it's a foul. All right. That difference, that very simple difference, tells my partner or two partners tells them what the next step in the process is going to be. All right. And if it's a shooting foul, I put two fingers up. So they can begin while I'm working my way to report that. They can begin moving people up for free throws, or they know where the spot is going to be, or whatever the case may be. So again, our mechanics, our signals, all of those things not only communicate with the play clock operator, but they also communicate with our crew so that we can crisply go to the next step, whatever that is, whether it's a penalty enforcement, whether it's a first down where we've got to move the chains, whatever it is. So again, use those signals.
You're gonna do the down deal on the downside.
Okay, Bert is asking if we're going to do the penalty enforcement with the one on the chain side staying in place. Yeah, and the signal we're using the signals of 1, 2, and 3 of a 5-yard, a 10-yard, or a 15-yard penalty, just making it clearer in that communication. And then remember, we always have to have one person that stays put. And I got mixed signals from the on-field work at GTOA. So we'll go to the mechanics outline and see exactly what they say there. But I believe what our crew has done is that the sideline official, the line of scrimmage official that is on the side with the chains stays at the enforcement spot, and then the opposite side walks the penalty off with the umpire, and then that way we know that we've got the 10 yards or the 15 yards or whatever it is, and then he's there to move the chains if necessary and to move the box. And so I believe that's the best mechanic. You should read, and that is something that they put in place last year that helps us to not have the problems of, oh, we marked off a 6-yard false start or a 4-yard false start or whatever, because everybody's on the same page, everybody's communicating. We know that we're going 10 yards from the previous spot. The other thing that Officiate IQ is brought to their attention is that I say we officials in Oklahoma, not the NOA or GTOA, we are dreadfully lacking in proper ball placement after enforcement of penalties. Okay. So I would highly encourage you, White Hats, to have your umpire use the two down marker system. You've got one for what down it is and the other one for the position of the ball. You've got 5 positions on the field. And the most common error in penalty enforcement is ball placement. All right. So you've got the ball in the right hash. They run around the left side. The ball carrier is tackled a yard short or even 10 yards down the field, but the hold took place a yard behind the line of scrimmage. So we're going to go 10 yards from the previous spot. Well, the ball ended up on the left hash. And what has often happened is that we spot it on the left hash, then we mark it off 10 yards. We go back to the line of scrimmage and mark it off. Well, the problem is that the previous spot is on the right hash. And so ultimately that's an error in enforcement. All right. So we need to remember that the previous spot is the previous spot. It is the previous spot on yardage, and it's also the previous spot on field position. All right. So understand, whichever way you're going, your right hash is 1, goalpost is 2, center of the field is 3, left goalpost is 4, left hash is 5. When you turn around and go the other way, it's still the same thing. Your right is 1 to 5 is left. Okay. So again, that is, even though ball placement, setting the ball now comes back to the referee from time to time, and really this is not an issue for the back judge when he's setting the ball, because most of the time, if he's setting the ball, we're well down the field, right? So that's not so much of an issue, but we need to be more mindful of getting that ball placement at the proper place. And then guys, Jared has talked quite a bit over the years about, we want to be the best team on the field on Friday night. And the only way that happens is if we recognize that that there are eyes on us. They didn't come there to watch us, but there are eyes on us at all times. We need to be mindful of doing our job and doing it properly, doing it crisply, not being lazy, moving quickly to the ball, moving, line of scrimmage guys, doing the 90-degree spot, all of those kind of things. Those are things that make you look like you know what you're doing. And if you look like you know what you're doing, you're a couple of steps ahead. Now they're still going to doubt you. They're still going to question your calls, but again, you're steps ahead if you will just be sure that you are presenting yourself well. All right, let's go to a couple of oh, Doug, I'm sorry, I got one here that I haven't been able to admit. All right. So let's go to a couple of questions tonight. I took some of the ones off of the let's see here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Might ought to turn the TV on here at this place. Well, I'll go ahead and share for everyone else. All right, we've got 6 of these questions tonight. And okay. Get us up here. Oops. Yeah, it doesn't help if you can see the answer before we give it. There we go. All right. All right. All right. I tell you what, since we kind of messed that up, you could already see the answer. We'll do this one kind of all together tonight. 4th and 8 from K's 40. K punts, and R18 signals for a fair catch at his own 30. The ball strikes his shoulder and remains in flight, where K83 catches the muff at R's 32 and advances. K83 is hit and fumbles at R's 20, and the loose ball goes out of bounds at R's 16. The result of this play will be a new series for K at R's 20. True or false? All right. So why is that false? What's that? As soon as K, well, okay, let's go down. Let's look at this. As K can catch the muff kick beyond the expanded neutral zone. So the the fair catch signal doesn't come into play because the ball was muffed. It doesn't matter that the ball didn't end up on the ground, that it was just, that it bounced off and was still in the air. It was muffed. It wasn't possessed. But on any kick play, as soon as K possesses the ball is immediately dead and it cannot be advanced. Okay. So all of the other elements of that question are moot. All right. Any questions or comments about that? What's that? Yeah, that was easy. But I don't want to ruin the next one. All right. Vanita, why don't you get ready and you answer number 2 for us? And again, what I want, these were true, false on the crew test, but what I'd like for you to do is tell us why the answer that you give, what do you base the answer that you give on? An eligible receiver jumps for a forward pass beyond the neutral zone and bats the pass forward to a teammate who catches and advances. This would be a legal play. Vanita, what do you think? Are you hearing us,
Hello.
Vanita? Go ahead.
We can't read it.
You can't read it.
No, it's like we can only read like half the question.
An eligible receiver.
Yeah, Marty, you're going to have to get out of that and back in it because it's
Like glitched up.
it's got garble in your screen.
All right. Okay. So do you think
There,
that,
yeah, that looks better.
is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Vanita.
Jumps for
But we're still reading.
forward to a team.
This is a legal play, truly.
All right. Why is that a legal play?
He can bat it.
He can bat it wherever he wants to. That's in the rule book. Can you hear us?
I heard you ask if we can hear you. So talk.
He can bat it any direction. He can bat it wherever he wants to.
All right. Before it's grounded, that's true. So the rule clearly states that an eligible receiver may bat a forward pass in any direction.
It's all Googled again.
Oh boy. All right. Is that better?
No.
Okay.
There you go.
Right there. Don't touch it.
All right. All right. Let me go to the next question. Tahlequah, see if you can do this one. Or can you see it?
Only half of it.
No, he fixed it.
Is that better? All right. I'm not hearing you, Tahlequah.
We're reading.
Okay. All right, Tahlequah, while you're considering this, I want you to also tell us what the 2 options that are mentioned would be.
Anybody want to answer this? You want me to answer it? Probably be wrong because most of the time I am. So I'm going to say that's a true statement because we have a ball. That's the new rule that went into effect last year. If the ball is fumbled forward, but the options would be they can either take the result of the play where he where the ball was fumbled, or they can go back and replay the down.
All right. So you have the correct answer, but your reasoning is a little wrong.
Okay.
All right. So let's look at it here. Okay. So you do have the right spot. It's that the option is going to be they can go back and replay the down, or they can take the where the ball was when it was fumbled. Okay. Now, again, your thought process was, it was fumbled out of bounds. So we come back to the spot of the fumble, but the fumble out of bounds, it is because that ball was loose when that inadvertent whistle happens, that would be one of the options. And that's why I thought this question would be a good one for us to discuss, because we really need to know what the options are when we have an inadvertent whistle. We had one in a Kansas game when Jimmy was down there, and I told him what his options were, and he says, "No, I want the ball right here." And well, that's not one of your options. So we have to be sure. Yeah, well, yeah, Mr. Duchesne. Yeah. No comment. We had to be aware of exactly what the options were, what they could and could not take. And again, so you know, based on your reasoning there, if that ball hadn't gone out of bounds and they had fallen back on it, they could not take the result of the play because the inadvertent whistle happened during the loose ball. So we go back to the spot of the fumble.
And that's why it's important to make sure you have a beanbag on the ground
Absolutely. Yeah.
when that whistle sounded.
That's right. Right. So as soon as we recognize that we've got an inadvertent whistle, we need to get a beanbag down.
Crew has a bird whistle once in a while.
And when that guy goes in.
If you have, in my opinion, if you had inadvertent whistle from somebody, I get on the whistle.
Right.
Instead of just.
Right.
hearing a small-
All right. So Tony McCoy is saying that since we've all dealt with that, it's it's the worst thing that we have to deal with. But as a white hat, as soon as he hears the inadvertent whistle, he gets on the whistle and kills the play. You're a lot better off doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Once that's right. I think that's a great point. We're going to put this on the internet. I don't want to make comments about anyone in that regard. Yes, Larry.
If they chose to go back to replay the down, if that previous play that ended it with the inadvertent whistle, and that had started with the snap, clock started with the snap, would that previous play, if they chose to go back, would it still be at the snap?
That's a very interesting question. Who wants to comment about that?
I think it's a dead ball. So it's not.
Well, the play is a running play.
What was the question?
The question was if they decide to go back to the previous spot and the clock started at the snap on that previous play, would it start at the snap again, or is this play is a running play that becomes dead as a result of an inadvertent whistle while the ball is loose, if that means that we're going to
And ready for play. It's a play clock would start on the ready.
the game clock, it says the game clock will start on the ready for play if no other timing rule requires it to remain stopped. And they say that's true. But the question here is if the previous play was starting on the snap and you were going back to the previous spot, would we do that in the same way?
If you replay the down, all timing rules remain as they were when
Right.
that down began.
Okay. All right. Okay, I agree. I think that's, yeah. So that adds another element that we have to be aware of and that we have to remember. Okay. All right. Nathan, we're going to let your crew do number 4. All right, here in Grove. Team K. Let's be sure everybody can see it. Can you guys see this yet? There we go. Is it up there yet? Team K executes an onside free kick from their 40, and K32 blocks an opponent at K's 48 when the untouched ball is rolling on the ground at K's 46. R25 recovers the kick following K32's block and advances down to K's 12. Now, here's the question. The penalty for K's illegal blocking foul can be enforced half the distance from K's 12 to K's 6 prior to R's new series, true or false? So the question is this one of those that can be tacked on at the end?
You're saying the other option would be they deny it?
Well, no, the other option would be that you re-kick. Yeah. Now, so here's the thing. Let's talk through this, all right? So this is a foul by K during the kick, which is a loose ball, which generally any foul during a loose ball is a previous spot foul. However, in the kicking game, we do have an exception that allows for those to go to the succeeding spot. So we ask, is this one of those exceptions? Again, these are the kind of questions that we need to understand so that when this is a scenario that could happen very easily. Excuse me. So, come on now. It's not letting me move here. All right, let's go. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let you cheat here. All right, so this is one of those exceptions, the 10-4-2 exception. It involves a live ball foul by K during a legal free kick down prior to the end of the kick. So R may choose to enforce the penalty at the succeeding spot. Okay. Right. So, right. Yeah. So in this case, it's going to be pretty obvious, right? Because they ran it all the way down to the 12-yard line. They're going to end up getting the ball at the 6. So, but the only question is if they're going to get those extra yards. Okay. So we need to be certain of that. Okay. All right. Tony's crew. Here's the next one. All 11 Team A players who will participate in the next scrimmage down must be between the numbers after the ready for play and before the snap. If they're not, the foul is illegal formation and is a live ball foul at the snap. Okay. So the issue here is both they have to have accomplished it, and then secondly, is this the foul that we would have? True or false?
Yes, they
Right.
have to get the 9 yard line.
Yeah, 9 yard mark, which is the numbers. Yeah, generally. Yeah. So true, the penalty, illegal formation and live ball foul. Now this was one of the issues that David Gore talked about at the state rules meeting that, that's probably not happening at at the level that most of our games are. But in some of these big 6A 1 and 2 schools, they're running players out onto the field and then running them off the field at the last second. So we have to be aware that if number 52, they're like they would in the playoffs. I think it was Bixby. I don't want to falsely accuse anybody, but they would run 3 players out there, and they would just come out onto the field. And then when they got up to the line of scrimmage, those same 3 would run off the field. Well, if they come onto the field, then they have to play at least 1 snap. So we've got to know, who's come on so that, they don't run out there and then run back. Now, he did say that we all know that, that some of these 15, 16-year-old high school kids are brain dead. And so they may have thought they were going in and they run out there and then, so he says, be aware that it could be just a mistake. Well, no, yeah, right. And that's what he's,
Maybe first time it happened,
Yeah.
turn around the coach,
yeah,
tell him,
yeah.
and the next time we do that,
Yeah.
that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. What we would charge them with is illegal substitution because they came onto the field and then they ran back off the field. All right. Now we got one more question and then I've got a little diagram for you that, I think everybody probably ought to print out and use in their coaches, in their pregame with the coaches. But let's do this one. Have we got any other crews? Tahlequah, you want to do this one as well? Can you see it?
Yes.
All right.
Any free or missed kick except the break of our. We can't hear you, Marty.
Well.
All right. I had a little.
There-
Is
There you
everybody-
are.
All right. Everybody still with us?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Go ahead and give us your answer on that last one.
We said the statement is true. You would disregard any touch anytime the ball breaks ours goal line, unless it's a momentum exception. You're gonna blow it dead at that point.
Right. And why is the momentum exception an exception?
Because that's not the ball.
Because the
Kick
kick
did not put him in there.
because the kick has ended. All right. So that's the key word in this question. Any kick. So if the kick breaks the plane, so if the ball is still in kick status and it breaks the plane, we're blowing it dead. And David Gore put dead in all caps and 3 exclamation points on the crew test. Okay. This is one of those Rule 2 things. We've got to know the definition of a kick. we've got to know when a kick is no longer in kick status. And anytime a ball crosses the plane of the goal line in kick status. Now, that ball could have been bumped around by 4 different guys in the field of play before it crossed the goal line. But if it was never possessed, it is still in kick status. Oh, I know. All right. Well, fortunately, we're getting down close to the end here, but this thing is wild. Okay, I want to show you one more thing here, and then we'll call it a night. All right. Am I sharing? Yeah, I'm sharing. Okay. All right. Look at this. Look at this sideline management and control diagram. All right. I would suggest to all of the white hats and probably your sideline guys as well to print this out. You can, if you Google NFHS 2026 editorial changes or something like that, it'll take you to the NFHS rules PowerPoint that David Gore used, that they all use here. But notice this diagram. It says the restricted area is this 2-yard band, and you'll see 3 little circles with C's in them, right? And this is the team box. Sideline management has become a recurring point of emphasis because it improves game safety to minimize the risk of all involved non-players. Go to your definitions. Non-players, that's anybody that is not on the field in the game at the time, including coaches, staff, all of that, must remain in their team box and out of any restriction. Yeah, I'm having trouble with Zoom, guys. Let me get this last little thing here, and we'll call it a night. So the coaches area is a minimum of a 2-yard belt. Okay, what is listed here as the restricted area is an area that the coaches are allowed in while the ball is dead. A maximum of 3 coaches and only coaches may be in this area when the ball is dead between plays. As soon as the ball is live, they have to get back into the team box as well. All right. I see giggles because we all know that they don't like that as a rule. And they'll say, "What do you mean? That's the coaching box." No, that's not the coaching box. That is the restricted area. They are allowed in that area during a dead ball, up to 3 of them are, and then they need to get back into the team box. All right. We need to use the tools that the OSSAA has given us to enforce this. If you enforce it early, then it'll go better the rest of the game. All right, guys. So, okay. So anyway, I would encourage you to go Google that, cut and paste that, print it out, laminate it, put it in your little book, because it tells, I mean, that's the rule there. The rule is listed there for the coaches. Show it to the coaches. I don't care who it is. Yeah, you can give them a copy if you need to. I don't care who it is. If they disagree with you, have a tool in your pocket that you can use to say, "I'm sorry, but this is the way it is." Yeah, though that's the other tool you have in your pocket is a penalty flag. Guys, I'm sorry for the technical difficulties tonight. I will do my best to have a little bit better next week. Before we go, let me mention the list of scrimmages, because we are coming up against that. First of all, for youth, I've got scrimmages this Saturday in Catoosa, Fort Gibson, and Miami. I will be at Catoosa. Anthony Meter will be at Fort Gibson, and Robert Gaunt will be at Miami. I need some other veteran guys there. And then if you are a first-year guy or a second-year guy still learning, get to one of those scrimmages. There is no substitute for time on the field, and we can do some one-on-one helping you with that. The one in Miami starts at 10. The other two start at 9. Okay. So my Catoosa and Fort Gibson start at 9 o'clock. The Miami one starts at 10, and they run till about 3 o'clock. Again, you don't necessarily have to be there the whole time. Just show up and help us out. There'll be teams going at both ends of the field. It would be very helpful if we have more officials than we need, because we can stand with the first year guys and help them see and understand what they need to do. Again, these are unpaid opportunities, but they will feed us. They will give us money to be fed. So, again, and then next week, if you've been asking me about assignments for the 8th, the reason I haven't given any assignments for the 8th, actually, I think I've got 2 or 3 people that I plugged in just because of some special circumstances that day. The reason I haven't made those assignments yet is because as of today, there are still 2 towns who are not certain that they're going to have all 6 of their teams, and we're trying to figure out, before I make assignments, I need to know whether they're having 4, 5, or 6 games at that site, because I don't want to schedule somebody for 3 games and then somebody else would only get 1 or 2. I want to be sure I know what I'm doing at that point. Understand that there probably won't be very many 5 or 6 game assignments this week or the next week for 2 reasons. Number 1, this heat is killer. Number 2, again, OKL doesn't start till after Labor Day, so you'll get a smaller dose of things early on. So anyway, I will, if you are a White Hat, please, we have 3 scrimmages on October 20th, Thursday night, one at Commerce, one at Jay, and one at Stillwell. I already have crews at Jay and Stillwell that I know of. And again, we can double up at places if we have everything covered. Friday night, the 21st, we have Concord, Kansas, and Ketchum. Thursday, the 27th, which is week 0. So some of you will be working, my crew's working games that night. Thursday is at Grove, which is always one of our best scrimmages to be training up young guys. But I've got a game, so I won't be there. So we'll need some of the ones who don't have week 0 games maybe to cover that. And then we have a scrimmage at Salina Friday night of week 0, the 28th. And my crew will cover that. Anybody else that would like to come out, but we'll cover that because our game is on Thursday night in week 0. So I will send all of this out tomorrow on an email, so everybody has and I'll put in who has already said that they would work this scrimmage or that scrimmage. Okay. And that way we'll know. Okay. You guys that are down south, any help that I can get from you on Stillwell and Kansas and Concord, those are, again, pretty far from some of our crews up here. So if you can kind of focus on those, that would be helpful. And just communicate with me as to which ones you want to do. All right. All right, guys, we've got one more meeting next Tuesday night. Jared assures me he'll be here next week. And so we'll have a good time. Hey, we did really well. Yes, the QR code. Let me put that up. Any of the sites there you can do, you should have a QR code at the site. If you're watching here, there's another one back over here, guys, here in Grove. You can come back over here and get that one. But I want to keep that up there.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, is everybody good? All right. We'll see you next week.